All right, before we get to Keith, the aftermath from the storm yesterday.
So many images of your communities. Alexis took this picture at Ocean Point. Keith is going to join us to talk a little bit about the storm, because it seems like when we talk about location, a lot of these same communities are going to be up against it tomorrow, Saturday.
Yeah, I know. I've done the same thing. I'm thinking it's tomorrow.
We have another day.
The storm is very similar. It's not quite as intense, but unfortunately, the problem we have here is our high tide is a foot higher. So that's going to really
add a lot.
Yeah, that's really going to factor in here. We'll go through all of this. Start with a couple of snow showers that are going on. Well done by the small-scale computer models picking up on the possibility of these out towards Rumford right now, out of Berlin, New Hampshire. Borderline squall-looking shower right there. But not a ton of these around. We'll zoom farther out and we'll see our storm system, which is actually just coming out of the southeast side of Colorado right now into the northern part of Texas. This low is going to follow a similar path when compared with our storm for yesterday, but there will be differences, which we'll talk about in a second. Again, this model doing a good job with those snow showers and squalls into Oxford County specifically and through New Hampshire. The rest of us tonight drop down into the 20s, and there will be some teens too, especially in the high terrain by early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's a bright day, and it looks like a little bit warmer than it looked a few days ago. Should be able to get in the upper 30s along the coastline, mid 30s inland, and then it's cold to start on Friday night. Clouds come in, and here comes our storm system. Our last one came in around 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. This will be well after midnight, so really more into Saturday that the storm moves in. And right off the bat, it is rain along the coastline. It's just too warm with the southeast wind. That rain snow line starts pushing its way inland through the day on Saturday. A lot of this happens during the daylight hours. Again, our last storm, most of it happened during the overnight hours into the early morning hours. Just holding on to snow into the mountains. At the very end, we change over to rain, snow into northern Maine too, and then we clear out in the afternoon. It is a relatively quick moving storm system. I trimmed back the total amounts in the mountains here because I just don't see the 12 happening. So you don't want to give false hope in the mountains. They don't like that. 6 to 10 inches of snow is possible. 3 to 6 when you get into the foothills, and then the rest of us 1 to 3, and then just rain into the mid-coast and southern coastal Maine. This 1 to 3 inch zone, we'll see that snow washed away by rain on top of it. The winds look similar to our last system, maybe just a little bit slower, so I'm thinking 50 to 55 miles an hour out of the southeast here. And again, that happens more in the morning hours through the mid-morning, and then it moves out in the afternoon. The thing we're going to talk a lot about here, though, is our coastal flood problem. And we look at our number 3 highest water level in Portland happened there on Wednesday. The projected crest right now for this high tide is actually higher than that at 14.1 feet, which would put it second, but certainly number 1 all time is easily within striking distance. We're talking under 6 inches of difference here. So that's what we'll be watching, guys. In a lot of spots with washed out roads, that had to do just with the level of water, right? And so we're going to do that again. The waves will be a little smaller, so along the coast they should be looks like 4 or 5 feet smaller, but they're still going to be big. And then we add that additional height to the high tide, which is a foot higher. Watching that storm on Tuesday, that's been an interesting one. One model still has a snowstorm, the other actually pushes it out to sea. So I think the risk of it being an inside runner is very, very low now. It'll either be a snowstorm or it'll be nothing, which is
our better options.
Yeah, that's what we want to be at.
All right, Keith, thanks.